Sparxie is a must-pull or skip. Alright, let's really sit down and talk about Sparxie properly because she's not just another DPS getting tossed into the banner cycle. She feels like a statement. 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀 is clearly trying to establish Ellation as a real archetype, and Sparxie is the first dedicated Ellation DPS meant to carry that identity on her back. She's arriving alongside Ellation support units like 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and while we're still waiting for the full calculation-based spreadsheet heavy guide closer to release, even from what we know now, it's obvious she's designed to define how Ellation teams are supposed to function moving forward. What immediately separates Sparxie from most DPS units is how aggressively her gameplay revolves around skill points. And when I say aggressively, I mean she surpasses even Archer in SP consumption. That alone should make you pause for a second. Archer already set the expectation for what a hyper carry who eats SP looks like. Sparxie looks at that benchmark and says, "That's cute." Her entire playstyle is about extreme enhancement stacking, and every bit of that stacking costs resources. Her skill doesn't function like a typical damaging ability. By the way, LD Shop just dropped a massive 35% discount for Stellar Jades. All you need is just your server and game UID. Seriously guys, if you need an affordable top-up that are also super fast and reliable, LD Shop is the way to go. Click the link below now and claim another 15% off for new user. Instead, it enhances her basic attack. At face value, her basic attack is just a normal single target hit. Nothing fancy. But once you press her skill, that basic transforms into a blast attack with significantly higher multipliers and better energy regeneration. And interestingly, it still generates SP when used. So even though you're spending SP to enhance it, the attack itself refunds one, creating this push and pull dynamic that defines her whole rhythm. Now here's the wild part. You can press that enhancement up to 20 times in a single turn. 20. Each press stacks up the multiplier higher and higher, very similar in spirit to 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 stacking mechanic, where the more you commit, the scarier the hit becomes. Watching that multiplier ramp is probably going to be one of the most satisfying visual payoffs in the game. You're literally building toward a punchline, and the longer you stack, the bigger the payoff. Every time you enhance, she gains at least one punchline stack. On top of that, there's a chance she refunds 2 skill points and grants extra punchline. That RNG refund is incredibly important. Without it, her SP consumption would feel suffocating. With it, there's this gambling element baked into her design. Sometimes she gives you resources back and lets you keep cooking. Sometimes she doesn't. That risk-reward loop feels very intentional and very on-brand for Ellation. Then we move on to her ultimate. It's a full AoE attack, but what really matters is that it scales directly with her Ellation stat. That means external Ellation buffs aren't just minor bonuses. They directly increase her base multiplier. If someone like 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 provides Ellation % boosts, Sparxie's ultimate becomes significantly stronger at its core, not just through additive damage layers. Her Ellation skill takes the chaos even further. It deals AoE Ellation damage with 20 additional bounce instances, 20 extra hits flying around the battlefield. And these bounces scale off both Ellation % and the amount of punchline she has stacked. So your investment into stacking directly multiplies the value of these additional instances. It's layered scaling on top of layered scaling. Using the Ellation skill also grants her 2 Thrill stacks. Thrill effectively acts as 2 extra SP equivalent uses specifically for further basic enhancements. So even when your team's SP economy is strained, she has a built-in way to continue stacking. It doesn't completely solve her SP hunger, but it gives her momentum tools to keep her engine running. When an AHA instant ends, she enters what's called the Certified Banger state. And honestly, that name alone tells you the kind of energy she brings. In this state, her enhanced basic attack and ultimate gain additional Ellation damage instances with extra scaling. So your already massive stacked hit suddenly gets extra layers attached to it. It's like you thought the explosion was over, and then there's another aftershock. One of her most important traces converts excess attack over 2,000 into Ellation % bonus, capping at 80% Ellation at 3,600 attack. That's huge. It means building attack isn't just about conventional scaling. It directly fuels her Ellation damage. So instead of feeling like you're choosing between attack and Ellation %, you're effectively double dipping. High attack investment becomes extremely rewarding. Another trace grants additional punchline and thrill based on how many Ellation allies are in the team. Maximum synergy occurs with triple Ellation, but it's not strictly mandatory. You can run her without a full Ellation squad, but the message is clear. Her design anticipates a future where Ellation teams are fully fleshed out. Her A6 trace adds another layer of value. It provides a team-wide crit damage buff based on her punchline stacks, up to 80% at 10 stacks. That's not a small supportive bonus. That's substantial. It means that even while she's acting as the hyper carry, she's indirectly boosting her teammates' damage output as she ramps. She's not purely selfish. Her stacking benefits the entire team. Her gameplay loop revolves around a very deliberate structure. 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀 Sparxie You maintain uptime on certified banger. Then, at the right moment, you dump a massive amount of SP in one explosive turn. It's about timing and setup. You don't just spam abilities mindlessly. You prepare, stack, and then unleash. Damage-wise, she has a two-pronged pattern. Her enhanced basic attack provides more focused damage, especially useful in single-target scenarios. Meanwhile, her elation skill spreads AoE chaos with multiple random elation damage instances. Even when facing a single enemy, those bonus elation hits ensure she still outputs strong numbers. She's AoE heavy by design, but she doesn't collapse in single-target content. However, we need to talk about context. Elation as a path is still incomplete. Right now, certain game modes heavily favor elation to promote the new archetype that can inflate perceived strength. Once the environment shifts, we'll get a clearer idea of her true baseline performance. Without committing to the full elation ecosystem, Sparxie alone may feel underwhelming. She's heavily dependent on path-based scaling. If you try to slot her into a generic team without proper SP support or elation synergy, you might struggle to maintain her rhythm. She's not plug-and-play in the traditional sense. That said, the current 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀 plus Sparxie plus 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 already achieves top-tier results. We're seeing zero cycle memory of chaos clears and very high pure fiction scores. That's before the elation roster is even complete. The baseline potential is undeniably strong. Pull priority really depends on your long-term plan. Pull priority ultimately depends on whether you plan to invest into the elation archetype now or in the future. If you're looking for an isolated DPS who performs independently of archetype investment, she might not be your safest option. But if you're committing to elation as a growing path, she looks like its cornerstone. Because her value increases over time as more elation characters release, strengthening her synergy and overall team ceiling. The more elation units we get, the more her traces, scaling mechanics, and stacking synergies will shine. She's designed with future-proofing in mind. Overall, Sparxie is flashy, explosive, and extremely satisfying on paper. Watching her stack up enhancements, gambling on SP refunds, entering certified banger state, and unloading a massive turn sounds incredibly fun. But she demands resources. She demands SP support. She demands teammates who enable her. If you're willing to give her that infrastructure, she looks like she can produce some of the most dramatic turns in the game. If not, she might just feel like a hyperactive DPS constantly asking for more skill points than you can comfortably provide. And honestly, that high-risk, high-reward identity fits elation perfectly. By the way, if we can hit 7,000 subscribers, LD Shop will give away 10 express supply pass to you guys. Comment and subscribe to participate.